Heavyweight boxing fans, what's the deal? Heavyweight boxing fan. All right, I'm live, man. I've been trying to go live for a few minutes, man. So, well, shit, probably about 20 minutes ago, I've been trying to go live, man, and it wasn't working. But we are live. My man Bruce Gold's up in here. What's up, man? So, let a few more people get up in here, but I know y'all didn't see the news over the last few days, man. The J. Bruce Theory, what's up, man? What up, though? Detroit up in here. But I know y'all didn't seen the news. It was a few days ago, man. I've been meaning to touch on it, man. But Usyk had did an interview. Who did he do that interview with? I think it was Sun Sport. Let me look this up real quick. Who did he do that interview with? Let me see here. I believe it was who did he do? I think it was Sun Sport that he did the interview with. But he pretty much hinted towards that he would be willing to step aside and allow Joshua and Fury to do Undisputed. All right. If you look at it from Usyk's point of view, that's a good move on his end because he's been saying for a while now that, you know, his goal is to be, you know, the first fighter in the four belt era. Okay. I know Evander Holyfield has been undisputed at cruiser and heavyweight. That's when you just needed the BC, the BA, and the IBF. All right. But now in this four belt era, what they start the four belt era was at 2007. They added the WBO. He wants to be the first fighter to do it. All right. So what better way to when you fight for the heavyweight title or any title when you're trying to be undisputed is shit all four belts on the line that night. So that's a smart move from him. And he's human, man. So look, if they offer him, like I was saying, if they try to give him some money that he can't refuse, him and his team is going to, you know, sit with all the parties and try to work something out. So I'm not surprised by what he had to say. Because the WBO, they did say that they're not going to give Anthony Joshua, you know, they're not going to allow him not to fight Usyk. And they're going to the point to where they'll strip him with the WBO if he doesn't fight Usyk next. But the president also said that it's up to Usyk. If he wants to step aside, then they will allow it to happen. All right, if you give somebody $1 million or $2 million or, you know what I'm saying, some money like that to step aside or close to the money that they're making in their fights, they're going to step aside. You know what I mean? And then for Usyk, all the belts can be on the line after Fury and Joshua gets done. Now that's a perfect world, right? I'm speaking just on a perfect world. We still gotta, and that's why I put Deontay Wilder in the on the photo you see, because it's like, look, we can't forget about Wilder. Last I checked, him and Fury. Hold on, you guys. But the last I checked, Deontay Wilder was taking Tyson Fury to court. So not so fast. You know what I mean? I would love to see Undisputed. Man, look, if it was my way, man, I want to see the third fight. But, you know, since I thought that the second fight, the way it ended, I know there's a lot of fans out there that think Tyson Fury cheated. But I'm looking at the way the fight ended. The result hasn't changed. There's, you know, it didn't get changed to a no contest. It's still on record as Tyson Fury stopping Deontay Wilder, but like a Wilder versus Usyk and then AJ versus Fury for Undisputed, and then the winner of that takes on the winner out of Wilder and Usyk. Two guys that are pretty much in the way right now of an undisputed fight happening, right? Because Usyk, he said himself, he doesn't want to fight for the vacant WBO title. Although it could be exciting for us, the fans, to see him fight a Joyce or somebody like that for the, you know, for that vacant, or if, you know, if it were to get vacated, that WBO strap, right? And then see a third fight between Wilder and Fury. But man, I wouldn't mind seeing Undisputed just so we can have an undisputed champion. Man, it's been 21 years, and I know people will say no, but Usyk deserved his shot, or Wilder deserves the third fight because of contracts and all that. It's like, if, you know, with that going at this rate, there's always going to be an excuse not to have Undisputed then. You know what I'm saying? Like, then I guess if Usyk beats, so if, let's say, Joshua fights Usyk, let's say somehow Usyk beats Joshua, then we'll have to sit and wait again, because I'm sure that Joshua will have some type of rematch clause. It's like we're always going to have an excuse of a rematch or a third fight or a title defense of this trinket. It's always going to be a fucking excuse, man. So, you know, as a fan, I guess it comes down to what you want. And to me, man, I've been screaming and hollering, I want to see an undisputed champion when I first started making these YouTube videos 10 years ago, man. When Vitaly had the WBC and his brother had all the other three belts, I knew he wasn't going to get undisputed because they were brothers. So that was the excuse for that not to happen. There's always some type of damn excuse for it not to happen, man. And I'm just, as a fan, I'm just, getting sick of them. I'm just getting sick of all the excuses, whether it's a third fight, second fight, WBO title defense, IBF title defense, doesn't matter. A few years ago, we wanted to see AJ versus Wilder, especially after AJ had beat Parker, and we didn't get it then. So, and we still at the same destination now. We don't have an undisputed champion. So, looking at it, like I said, man, from Usyk's point of view, I could see him take some step aside money, and letting Fury and AJ get along, as long as they compensate him generously and promise him the fight afterwards. But then again, like I said, just can't forget about Deontay Wilder. Like, this dude was taking him to court, man. So it looks good out there. I like the reports. It gives us the feel of that we're one step closer. I'm glad that Usyk seems as if he will be willing to do it and sit down, but we still have Deontay Wilder that doesn't seem like he's going to be doing any type of stepping aside. That's just what it looks like from the outside looking in from my set of eyes. Let me see what you guys are talking about, man. I'm not going to be long on this one. I just want to give my opinion about it. See what you guys have to say. D. Oblinuli was good, man. Bruce goes. Yeah, rest in peace to Frankie Randall, man. I remember that night that he beat Chavez. Big upset, knocked him down. I remember that fight clear as day. And I know that Floyd Mayweather grew up learning from Frankie Randall when he was a youngster, and some other fighters, but Frankie Randall was one of the key people in helping out Mayweather when he was a youngster. But rest in peace to Frankie Randall, man, the surgeon. Yes, indeed. D. Oblinuli says, I don't understand why WBO don't want to be a part of Undisputed. Yeah. But shit, you can say that for a lot of sanctioned bodies, man. I remember when the IBF was trying to force Fury to fight Glasgow. That's how Charles Martin and Glasgow end up fighting for that vacant title. Then, Fury end up leaving the sport for a couple years, regardless, but still. So, yeah, the WBO, I'm not, you would think they would, that they would want to be, right? Andre Ward, he says, give the fans what they want. Yeah, and that's Undisputed. But you say give the fans what you want. I guess it depends on which fans you're talking to, because there's a lot of fans out there that want to see the Wilder and Fury third fight, and then you have a set of fans that want to see AJ versus Usyk, and then you do have some fans that want to see Fury versus AJ. W Wallace 0071, he says, morning, mate, how much did you weigh when you boxed? Well, bro, I've only done sparring. I'll spar quite a few times. But bro, I've been between 225 pounds, and I've been between 225 and 240 for the last 20 years. You know what I mean? So if I'm playing a lot of basketball, then I'm usually down to 225. But if I'm doing like light weightlifting and just, doing boxing workouts, with just hitting the bag, stuff like that, and hitting the mitts, and I'm usually around about closer to 240. But if I'm playing a lot of ball, I'm like down to 225. Haplotype, what's good, man? He says Fury versus AJ first. I would like that, man. Then I would like to see Wilder versus Usyk in the meantime. I think they should get it on, man. But I think Wilder's going to hold on to getting his shot at Fury. 2021, man, is going to, it's going to be a lot of questions answered. And I can't wait till we just see what's going to happen with just Wilder. Now, Wilder did say if he doesn't get Fury in the ring, there was some guys that he wanted to fight. And one of the guys he was naming was Andy Ruiz. So Deontay Wilder, has set his sights on other fighters not named Tyson Fury. All right. So if he's able to do that, then shit, why not give Usyk a shot? Or why can't that fight not happen? So Mr. Boxing, were you impressed with Usyk's performance against Chisora? No, I wasn't. I wasn't jumping out of my seat. I thought he did what he had to do. Look, man, he's in there with he was in there with a banger, somebody that all his shots was hurting him, even to the point where I had Usyk saying, "Now this is Usyk's words, not mine. You guys heard the news. Don't act like you haven't heard the news." When Usyk came out and was saying allegedly he felt as if that those gloves by Chisora were not up to par. That's what he said. And ironically, I didn't hear a big outcry from nobody. I didn't hear nobody call him a crybaby. I didn't hear nobody call him a whiner. And, why is he crying? Now, he did win the fight. It's just ironic. I really didn't hear that. And I really haven't heard much from a lot of fans talking about Lomachenko. Now, he literally just said that the judges were bribed in his loss to, in his loss. You know what I mean? So, I don't know, man, people are kind of selective, man, when they want to call people crybabies and they're whining and they're complaining. It's like people are kind of, they kind of pick and choose, right? If you don't like complainers and whiners, then don't like complainers and whiners all over all across the board. Just stay consistent with it, man. That's all I think as a boxing fan, you got to stay consistent, man. If like I've heard guys come in here in the comment section, I just, read all over the internet and, people say things like, oh, drug cheats this, drug cheats that. And then as soon as their guy fails a drug test or has a faulty drug test from 8-7 years ago, then they have an excuse for it, but if it's a guy that they don't like, then he needs to be banned from the sport forever, so sport of boxing, man, is really not a lot of consistency, man. That's why a lot of stuff, it goes right in one ear and right out the other that I hear, because I just know people are not consistent, so Diablinuni says we need a World Boxing Super Series for the non-champions at heavyweight top 8. Shit, man, to make it better, how about throw all the champions in there and have a World Boxing Super Series like that? But I understand where you're coming from, though, man. That would be good. Look, I love tournament formats because in that way, there's no crying, there's no complaining, he doesn't put butts in seats, or I'm not going to fight him because he deserves 20% of the, there's none of it. You're in a tournament and if you're seated, and then if you win, you fight the winner of the other bout, and so on and so forth till we crown a winner. I love tournament formats. Impromptu formats is fine too, as long as you guys we know you're going to fight. But being placed in a tournament, I love that. I love it. Underground Asylum, salute, man. W Wallace 007, when he says, "What about Canelo? Is he simply amazing?" Or on the barbecue sauce, your thoughts? Well, shit, he failed. He had testings of faulty drug tests. So there's no if I think he is. Shit, he has been. So I'm inclined to think that I will never put it past him again. However, looking at the eye test, the motherfucker can fight. Like that. Look, man, that's one thing. You can fill yourself up full of all types of drugs. Still don't mean that still don't mean you can't get your ass whooped. And there's been a lot of guys that lost in fights and test positive for something. Doesn't make it right, but I'm just saying, just being on the juice just is not enough. It doesn't just guarantee you victory. You still got to go in there and throw hands. It does give you a competitive advantage that you wouldn't have you not put it in your system, because that's not so it does. I understand that part, but doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win a fight either. Apostle says Canelo versus Caleb Plant next year. Yeah, if Caleb Plant want the fight, then they offer Caleb Plant the fight, and that's how we end up getting Canelo versus Smith. See, that's one thing, man. Canelo is offering his fight to guys, man, and they're turning it down for whatever reason. And then once he goes and fights somebody else, then the guys that he offered the fight to, oh man, let's get it on. You ducking this smoke and all this weird shit. It's like, how's he ducking the smoke when he offered you to fight and you turn it down for XYZ reasons? That's corny, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you ain't ready, okay, you know you're not ready. But don't try to come out the woodworks like, you just offering this smoke and he's running from you. That's bullshit. You know. Let me see what man Heplo was saying. Heplo says, do you? He says, well, first, let me see. He says, do you, the Boxing Hall of Fame, will exclude guys who have done PEDs like the Baseball Hall of Fame does? It seems like they're snubbing Tony. Yeah, but they got to be consistent, man. If you're going to snub one guy that tested faulty on the drug test, then you got to do it for everybody. You can't just pick and choose. If that's the criteria that you're going to set, fine, cool. That's nothing wrong with it. Just make sure when it's somebody that you like, and I'm talking to the boxing writers that had something with their gloves or a drug testing issue, anything like that, just make sure that you keep the same energy and you use the same criteria. Don't pick and choose. Don't let this drug cheat in because his promoters and managers, gave you sandwiches at the pressers, or they paid or gave you, 50% off on your room at the MGM Grand, or they hooked you up with a hooker, or none of that, right? Let's just keep it consistent. That's all I ask, man. If you set a criteria, that's cool. That's your criteria. Just stick by it at all times. Eric Swade says, Usyk versus Wilder or Fury Joshua is a waste of time, much like Klitschko versus Adamek. I want to say it's a waste of time. How can it be a waste of time, brother, when Usyk is literally in line to get a title shot? He's literally in line. Like, if he says it's up to Usyk whether he fights next for a title or not. Well, he might have to. Look, damn a Usyk. It all really, and for Fury's sake, is coming down to Wilder. What Wilder's going to do, unless, Fury just want to go to court and just keep going to court with Wilder. But nah, this is nothing like that, man. Well, in my opinion, it's nothing like that. Adamek wasn't no undisputed cruiserweight champion. He wasn't in line to possibly try to make history, right? Yeah, he was a solid cruiser, but he wasn't he wasn't no undisputed cruiserweight champion. He's no gold medal winner. No, to me, this is nothing like that. In my opinion, at least. Let me see. I've skipped a few. Now, Eric, I do agree. You said maybe it's just me, but I do not think Usyk deserves his high ranking. Holyfield didn't get to cut the line. He had to fight his way up the heavyweight division. The criteria, though, bro, is changed. The WBO. This is the WBO that is doing this. This isn't Usyk's fault. This is the WBO. If you go undisputed, or look, I forgot how it goes. Is it if you go undisputed, or with or if you're just a WBO champion? When you move up to the next weight class, they have it in their rules that you get a title shot. That's their rules. You know what I'm saying? So don't blame Usyk. If you're going to blame anybody, blame the WBO. And the WBO wasn't around as one of the major four sanctioning bodies back when Holyfield was fighting. So he couldn't take advantage of no rule like that. You know what I mean? But yeah, Holyfield had to fight the Dokes and he had to come up. You know what I mean? He had to really prove himself to get that shot, right? He had to fight Pinky Thomas, right? He had to fight Alex Stewart. Fought Stewart twice. So Holyfield had to come up and get some good fights. He wasn't granted besides fighting like McDonough, what I'm saying, besides like him, what I'm saying, he had it tough, man. He didn't get a Chaz Witherspoon level guy. If anything, he jumped right in the fray, fighting a tough guy like a Chisora right off the top. And Usyk struggled with Chisora. Lawrence Williams, what's up, man? Wallace says, how do you feel about Joe Juggernaut Joyce? He's really growing on me, and his slow motion style is actually an optical illusion, I reckon. He's big and fit enough to fight Joshua sooner or later. I like Joyce, man. I think, he puts on a lot of pressure. And one thing about his pressure, he's not like he's, see, usually when you think of pressure guys, usually, oh, I'm gonna have to get off in like a few minutes, guys. Um, Usually when you fight a pressure guy, he's usually the shorter guy that's plodding forward with the high guard, trying to put pressure on a outboxer, right? But Joyce is different with his approach because he's just as big as the quote unquote big guys, right? He's 6'6", just a big dude, right? Got the reach and everything. So his pressure is a little bit different where he can use a jab, and it's just his volume. It's the same volume. He doesn't switch up speeds. It's the same volume. Now it's easy to counter a guy that fights at one speed, whether that's the guy that throws shoe shine fast punches, or if he's punching at the rate that Joyce does, because people can get that timing down and start to counter you, right? But Joyce, he keeps that same, but he can keep it all night. From round one, he'll be the same in round one, and round 7 to round 10, 11. It's the same thing, and he has a good chin on him. He's never going to wow you. He's never going to be fancy with like his footwork and all that, and his flashy combinations. Is just relentless, dogged determination and pressure. So you definitely can't count him out, man, because if you go in there and try to knock him out and you can't get him out of there, and your gas tank is emptying as the fight goes, he can definitely start to overwhelm you, where that slow motion speed that he punches in now is coming at you like he's a damn near prime Ray Leonard, because that's what Daniel Dubois looked like when he was fighting him, where it looked like he was getting attacked by a damn octopus after a while. Like he couldn't get out of the way of nothing, and his eye was swelling up. You know what I mean? So Joyce is definitely always going to have opportunity to win in that fight, but he's there to be hit. This is a guy that did get knocked out in 32 seconds in an amateur fight against Sergey Kuzmin. Got hit with, I think it was overhand right hand that dropped him. So he is also there to be hit, but I want to see Joyce fight anybody based on his style. D Hodges, what's good, man? He says, what up, Mr. Boxing and chat, LDBC, salute family, salute, bro. Eric Sway says, okay, he's talking about, he says, I'm not impressed with Usyk at heavy. I could be wrong. We'll see. That's all I'm saying. I think Wilder and the big heavyweights would decapitate him. We'll see. Yeah, man, watching his fight against, now watching him at Cruiser when he fought Gassiev and Breedis gave him a very hard, difficult fight. And I'm curious to see if Breedis will just move up to heavyweight. Breedis knocked out Manuel Charr off the back foot with an uppercut, put him to sleep. Only thing he was missing was a blankie and a pillow. And I'm dead serious. I want to see Breedis go ahead and just move up to heavyweight and stay. But yeah, Usyk, it's a lot different animal here, because even when he fought Chaz was putting more leather on him than he wanted, right? He looked a little haggard in that one. And then Chisora was just, and people say, oh, he didn't, they think the weight gain got something to do with it. No, it's not like Usyk came in at 260 or 250. He came in literally around the same that he, would come in after he rehydrated Cruiser, like that 220, it's the same thing. It's just that now he's getting hit by real heavyweights, not just guys who can punch hard at cruiserweight, but real legit, been there their whole career, experienced heavyweight like a Chisora. And I know that Usyk dominated in the World Series of Boxing, 7, 8 years ago when he fought Joe Joyce and Junior Fa and Matteo Madungno and all them type of guys. I get it, you know what I mean? But that class of World Series of Boxing guys, even though some of them are still fighting now like a Joe Joyce, but it's a lot different. It's a lot different. You know what I mean? The quality of those guys is a lot different than what's taking place right now. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot different. And this isn't no World Series of Boxing rules, right? This shit goes 12 rounds. This ain't no 4-rounder. This shit can go 10, 12 rounds and you getting hit by a Derek Chisora or like a thudding type of puncher like that. That type of shit slows down your legs. Look, I know it's not glamorous when we watch guys get hit in the chest or get hit in the solar plex or getting hit on the arms and the elbows, but I'm telling you one thing, when you're in that ring, that shit slows you down, getting hit on that hip bone and the ref ain't seeing it, and all that type of shit was bothering him. He couldn't use that flashy footwork. See, this is what made a Ali and a Larry Holmes, because when they couldn't get away from a Joe Frazier, when they couldn't get away from a Shavers, guess what they had to do? Stand and fight them off of them. There's going to be sequences and points in fights where all that flashy footwork shit ain't going to work. You're going to have to fight somebody off of you. So Usyk is experiencing that early. You know what I mean? But his footwork, I'm not going to discount it completely because it still can. If you got heavy feet and you're, as my man Dwyer likes to say, clunky, you're a clunky. If you're clunky like that and your accuracy is not there, then Usyk could make you look foolish. But all it takes is just 1 or 2 shots from these guys and it could be night-night. A lot of these guys are going to go high guard, even though Gassiev could crack like a motherfucker at cruiser and he's moved up to heavyweight since then. But he was trying to go high guard and then wait for Usyk to get off and then come out of his high guard with a left hook. Man, Usyk then went home, took a nap, woke up, got in the shower, got something to eat before that left hook is even coming around the corner. See, a heavyweight, Chisora, and them type of guys, like thudding guys like that, they're not going to do all that. And we haven't even touched the fact of fighting a guy like Joshua or a Wilder or, guys that got that type of reach on them. So my man Curtis Anderson was good, Kurt. Michael Johnson, Boxing Talking More, what's up? So, yeah, man, that's all I really want to say is, let me see, Wilder says, Wilder versus Fury would be amazing. I honestly think Wilder would KO him this time. If history repeats, a defeat can evolve a fighter into something truly amazing, or the complete opposite, I guess. Yeah, I mean, I was just sitting here, I've been watching some Joe Louis, man. And if you look at that first Schmeling fight, you would think, shit, I don't care who I don't care if Joe Louis does beat up Sharkey afterwards. The way he got beat by Schmeling, I don't think he'll ever beat Schmeling, right? Because Schmeling stepped to him, was landing. I mean, literally, Max could have just closed his eyes and threw right hands, and it would have touched. Bro, the way that he was landing that, the consistency he was landing that right hand on Joe in that first fight was like a magnet. You know what I'm saying? It's like a magnet was on his glove and on Joe's chin. But looking at that fight, you would think, shit, rematch for what? I see what I needed to see, right? And then we know how the rematch went. So sometimes a guy can get destroyed in a fight, and you think, man, there's no way he can deal with his power. He can, he pretty much took this away from Joe, took that away from him, so on and so forth. You look at the Patterson and Johansson fights, right? As many knockdowns, them dudes, when you can punch like Wilder, you're definitely going to have a chance. But there's some things I think Wilder's going to have to change, man. Style-wise, I know a lot of people are talking about some other things with that, but style-wise, being stepped to like that, people are just overlooking the fact that, dude, Johann Duhaupas, and I've been saying this forever, man, but I'm gonna keep saying it. Johann Duhaupas laid the blueprint down on how to get to Wilder. And I said after the second Fury fight, I was like, damn, Fury looked like he fought an A+ version of what Duhaupas was attempting to do. And that stepping to Wilder, putting him on his back foot, putting him on his back foot to where he's pressured. And making him fight a fight where there's going to be hooks and uppercuts thrown and not just straight punches. When you can get inside that reach, and I know it's kind of funny, right? Because I think Fury has a longer reach than Wilder, but stepping to him and making him fight in that manner than just long range fight, just a long range type of fight where Wilder's at his most devastating. No, I don't, Eric. Bro, I really don't think no. Man, look, if I'm betting on Wilder's right hand in anybody's chin, I'm going to put with these group of guys, I'm putting my money on Wilder's right hand. Now, if your chin can overcome that, well, hell, man, prove me wrong. But the stats and the numbers tell me that the right hand, once his right hand, a good one, touches that chin's going to give out. Unless you can roll with him, if you can roll, and we can say, well, Tyson Fury, yeah, but Tyson Fury is also 6'9", 270 damn pounds, been fighting that big, been big all his life. You know what I mean? He isn't some cruiser moving up, even though Wilder's not a big guy, but his power is devastating. So if it's taking somebody that's the makeup of a Tyson Fury to be able to even take his shots and get up. Styles make fights, man, but I'm putting my money on Wilder's right hand to crush Usyk's jaw or wherever it hits him above his neck. Whether that's the temple, punch him in his nose, his eye. If he gets hit flush, it's going to be night-night. So, and that's one thing, man. Sometimes some guys, you may lose a fight and people think, people look at that Wilder Fury fight, that rematch, and think that people just going to just walk in on Wilder now and show him who's boss. Okay. Okay. You run into that right hand, it's going to be a different story. Now, don't get me wrong. Your opponents start to look at you differently once they see you take a L, especially if you're the knockout king guy. If you're a Foreman or a Mike Tyson or a Sonny Liston or built from that cloth of a puncher, then people do look at, okay, they can go up. They see it's done, right? Right? They see that, okay, you can get to him. Somebody did show us the blueprint. Not in the amateur, not in the fucking, some gym war story from sparring. I'm talking about prime time. The lights are on Saturday night. The world's watching. People can see a blueprint to get to you now, right? So people's confidence probably be higher than it was when he was undefeated, and there, but that right hand is still dangerous. That's not something you're just going to walk in on or, go looking for or take one of those to land some shots. There are some guys that do have that approach, but being tough, being tough can get you stretched out. Dio Benuni says Hunter beats up Wilder. Look, Hunter has a chance against anybody, but against Wilder, if he can get in that range and get Wilder into just like a high speed, fast pace, high, type of fight. If he can get him into that to where, again, they're throwing hooks and uppercuts and all that type of stuff, he has a chance. But long range, trying to sit off from the outside and getting teed off on, no, he's getting knocked out. Get in that range, make it a do-up Tyson Fury in the second fight. Eric Molina, when he did have success, he landed a left hook. That type of range, you'll have a chance against Wilder. In my opinion. Tyrone Smith was good, bro. He says people talk about the second fight like Wilder was just totally fine. He was stumbling from the first bell. Why does nobody talk about that? Well, shit, even if you want to go further than that, I thought in hindsight, because going into the fight, I did say that I thought the 231 was okay because of how, his frame, and the Spilka fight thing came in like 228. So I thought that 230, 228, I thought that was fine for him. But looking at it on fight night, his legs didn't look like it was there. So whether that was whatever reason you want to say it was for, people say, Wilder, not people. Wilder said that Breland spiked his water. So whether it's from that, whether it's from whatever, the costume, whatever, his legs didn't look right. I will say that, right? They just didn't. Even when he was trying to back up, it just looked like he just didn't have no spring in his leg. It just looked weird. It just looked weird. But it's not Tyson Fury's fault that his legs didn't look right. Not like Tyson Fury gonna say, "Oh man, your legs don't look right. I'm gonna just, man, I'm gonna just fight from this distance, Deontay, because your leg." Nah, that's not his problem. Step two and make him fight. Oh, your legs don't look right? Great. Now I'm about to step two, you really turn it up. Just like if it was Tyson Fury's that legs didn't look great, it wouldn't have been Wilder's fault. Here, eat this right hand while your legs aren't looking great. Let me just go ahead and put you on your back then, so you got to stand on your legs. Tyrone Smith says, I feel the first fight is the best representation of a fight between Fury and Wilder. Well, one thing I will say is this, man. Fury, to me, people's like, Fury's never fought like that. I'm not saying you're saying this, Tyrone, but and I'm sitting here like scratching my head like, man, I don't think a lot of you guys watched a lot of Tyson Fury before he became like, popular or something, because he fought like that against Nicola Furtha, and he fought like that against McDermott, and people thought McDermott beat him in the first fight. It's like, he's fought like that before, man. That maul and grab, he's fought like that. When Cunningham dropped him, Fury got up and started mauling and using his weight and leaning and putting his forearm under Cunningham's neck and put him in a headlock and start, turning up that physicality. He's always had that in his arsenal. He's always had that. Always. That's why I'm scratching my head. Like I've seen him fight. Shit, I was more surprised that he started fighting off the back foot. See, I'm total opposite because I'm used to seeing him when he had hair. Y'all, some people don't remember when Fury had the little hair. Shit, I'm used to seeing him trying to maul and brawl guys. You know, so I don't know. Maybe that's just me, man. Maybe it's just me. Lauren says, I didn't like Hunter's performance last weekend. I mean, he did what he had to do, man. Sean Lockery wasn't a world beater. I liked the way Hunter was going to the body, but shit, Hunter never really jumps off the screen to me, though, Lawrence. I haven't seen a Hunter performance was like, okay, that's it right there. All his performances to me, bro, he's getting touched, but he's touching dudes back. But the Bacole fight, he was getting touched. Even the Kuzman fight, they were having little dust-ups, and he was able to stop Bacole, and he put Kuzman on his ass. Kuzman went to decision with him, but the Usyk fight that he lost, Usyk probably was his best performance. But he's always like that with me, though, Lawrence. Like, he's always getting touched. He's just real awkward. He's just awkward as hell, man. Man, that dude is awkward. And it looks like he's off balance. Then he'll be in orthodox, and then he'll throw a right hand that missed, but his body will now be in southpaw position because he was so off balance. But then he'll come back with a straight left hand from southpaw that'll stun you. He's just real awkward, but he knows how to use it. And you can tell that's something he's been working on. That kid or that dude's been working on fighting awkward like that his whole career. Look, man, important phone call, man. I appreciate you guys showing up, but I got to get off, man. Just want to get my quick opinion. I see kind of local up in here. I appreciate you guys showing up, man. Till next time, I'm gone.